I didn't jump into the water because I wanted to win. I jumped because, for a split second, I thought if I didn't move, something inside me would finally break. The lake was colder than I expected. It hit my chest like a shock, stole my breath, and for a moment all I could hear was my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. People on the shore cheered, laughed, shouted my name like this was just another company retreat game. Like this didn't matter. But it did. At least to me. Because this wasn't just a swim. It was a bet. And my boss, Clara Whitmore, never made bets she didn't intend to win. First one to the dock and back, she had said earlier, standing barefoot at the edge of the water, sunglasses hiding her eyes, confidence radiating off her like sunlight. Winner gets a favor. Anything within reason. Everyone laughed. I didn't. Because when Clara said anything, she meant it. She turned to me, a small smile tugging at her lips. You in, Daniel? I should have said no. She was competitive, athletic, the kind of person who ran marathons before breakfast and still showed up to meetings perfectly put together. I was not that guy. But something about the way she asked, like she already knew my answer, pushed me. Yeah, I said. I'm in. Now, halfway through the lake, my arms burned and my lungs begged for air. I forced myself to focus. Stroke. Breathe. Stroke. Breathe. Clara was ahead of me. Of course she was. Her movements were smooth, efficient. No wasted energy. She cut through the water like she belonged there. I pushed harder. Not because I thought I could beat her, but because quitting wasn't an option anymore. Not after everything. The dock loomed closer. I could hear the splashing beside me, the rhythm of her stroke steady and controlled. I reached the wooden edge just seconds after she did. She tapped it, turned instantly. I hesitated. Just for a second. And that second cost me. By the time I pushed off, she already had momentum. I chased her anyway, my muscles screaming, my vision narrowing. Halfway back, something changed. I heard it before I saw it. A sharp cry. Not playful. Not part of the cheering. Panic. I turned my head, scanning the water. A kid, maybe 8 or 9, was thrashing near the shallow end, too far from the shore, too far from the dock. His movements were wild, desperate. No rhythm. No control. Drowning. Everything else disappeared. The race. The crowd. Clara. I changed direction without thinking. The cold didn't matter anymore. The distance didn't matter. I pushed through the water as fast as I could, every stroke fueled by something deeper than competition. Hey! I shouted. I've got you. The kid's head dipped under for a second that felt too long. I reached him just as he came back up, coughing, gasping, eyes wide with fear. Grab my shoulder, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He clung to me instantly, too tight, panic making him heavy, unpredictable. I adjusted, turning onto my back, pulling him with me. Easy, I murmured. You're okay. I've got you. It took longer than I expected to get him to shore. My arms were already exhausted from the race, and now every movement felt like lifting weights underwater. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. When we finally reached shallow ground, 2 staff members rushed in to help, pulling the boy away from me and guiding him to safety. He was coughing but conscious, wrapped in a towel within seconds. I stood there, water dripping from my face, chest heaving. The cheering had stopped. Silence replaced it. Then, slowly, it came back, but different this time. Not loud and careless. Softer. Real. I turned. Clara was standing a few feet away, water streaming from her hair, her expression unreadable. She had finished the race. Of course she had. She walked toward me, not saying anything at first. Just studying me like she was seeing something she hadn't noticed before. You lost, she said finally. I let out a breath that was almost a laugh. Yeah. Looks like it. A pause. Then she shook her head slightly. No, she said. You didn't. I frowned. Pretty sure I did. You could have kept swimming, she continued. You were close enough to at least try. But you didn't. I shrugged, suddenly aware of how tired I felt. It wasn't really a choice. That's the point, she said quietly. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The noise around us faded into the background again, but this time it felt different. Lighter. She crossed her arms, then uncrossed them, like she was debating something internally. The bet still stands, she said. I blinked. What? I said the winner gets a favor. She met my eyes. And I decide who won. That's not how bets work. It is when I make them. I almost smiled. So what, you're just giving it to me? I'm not giving you anything, she said. You earned it. I hesitated. There were 100 things I could have asked for. A promotion. A raise. Time off. Something practical. Something safe. But the words that came out weren't any of those. I want you to fund the community swim program, I said. She tilted her head. The what? The one HR pitched last quarter, I explained. Free lessons for kids in low-income neighborhoods. It got cut from the budget. I remember, she said slowly. It wasn't exactly cost-effective. I nodded. I know. And that's what you want, she asked. That's your favor. Yeah. She studied me again, that same searching look from before. You could have asked for something for yourself. I did, I said. This is it. Another pause. Longer this time. Then she smiled, not the polished, professional smile everyone in the office knew, but something softer. Real. Done, she said. Just like that. Just like that. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Thank you. She shook her head. Don't thank me. You're the one who made it impossible to say no. We stood there for a moment longer, the sun dipping lower, casting golden light across the water. Why'd you do it? She asked suddenly. I looked at her. Do what? Turn back, she said. Most people wouldn't have. Not with everyone watching. Not with something on the line. I thought about it. About the kid's face. The panic in his eyes. About a memory I didn't talk about much. My little brother almost drowned when we were kids, I said finally. Someone pulled him out just in time. Her expression shifted. I didn't know that. Not really something that comes up in meetings, I said. No, she agreed softly. Another silence. But this one felt comfortable. Hey, she said after a moment. Walk with me? I raised an eyebrow. Is that another bet? Don't push your luck, she said, but there was a hint of a laugh in her voice. We walked along the edge of the lake, the sounds of the retreat fading behind us. You know, she said, I've spent a long time thinking success was about winning. Being first. Staying ahead. Seems to be working out for you, I said. Maybe, she replied. But today, she glanced at me. Today made me question that a little. I didn't know what to say to that. So I didn't say anything. I mean it, Daniel, she continued. What you did, it matters. More than you probably realize. I shrugged. Anyone would have done it. She stopped walking. No, she said firmly. They wouldn't have. I met her gaze. For once, she wasn't the boss. Not really. Just a person. Maybe not, I admitted. She nodded, like that answer meant something. We started walking again. You're different than I thought, she said. Good different or bad different? Still deciding, she said, but she was smiling again. By the time we made it back, the boy I'd pulled from the water was sitting with his parents, wrapped in a blanket, looking tired but okay. He saw me and waved. I waved back. And in that moment, something inside me settled. Like a piece of me that had been restless for a long time finally found its place. The race didn't matter. Winning didn't matter. What mattered was that he was safe. And somehow, that was enough. Clara stood beside me, quiet for a moment. Next time, she said, we're racing again. I laughed. You really don't give up, do you? Not a chance, she said. Then, after a beat, but next time, we pick a prize that helps even more people. I looked at her, surprised. Then I nodded. Deal. And this time, it didn't feel like a competition. It felt like the beginning of something better.